joins me here is my producer. One of my producers now will go over the details of these developments. Dennis, let's start off with the red notice, the wanted list, which Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana's former finance minister, is supposed to be on.
Yes.
Now we know he's not on, or is he back on?
No, I mean, as we check now, he's still not on. And a couple of times we have shown viewers this particular page, a live page of the Interpol website, where we have shown them where the former finance minister was placed on this particular list. But tonight, if you do the checks like we have done in the past, you are unable to find him on that particular list. So what is of a fact is that he is not visible on this particular list if you check on their website. But that in itself has been a matter of controversy. While there are reports that suggest that he's been removed, the OSP says that we should disregard such reports. Even though when you do your check, you do not find him listed as a wanted person as it used to be. But the OSP has been given an explanation as to why
this is so. I mean, what's the explanation?
Should be the basis for disregarding the reports that the OSP, the former finance minister, has been taken off the wanted list. Now, he makes reference to some ongoing legal processes that are to the effect that they were challenging the process of he being there, that lawyers had initiated processes to get him off that wanted list. That the process has been ongoing, and it gets to a point where they, as an office, were supposed to respond to some new information that had been adduced by lawyers for the former finance minister. And that in the circumstances, while the review is ongoing, it is the standard practice that Interpol would take out the person in the interim.
Because there's been a challenge.
Yes, until the decision is made. But that does not change the fact that when you go and search on the website, you do not find him listed as a wanted person. And that is what many have described as he has been taken off the wanted list. But what the OSP is suggesting to us that this is only a temporary situation, and that when the processes are done, the final determination will be made. These are excerpts of the statement that the OSP
I see. And the OSP gives some timelines.
Yes.
When he talks to us about why
and this
the
is
situation
just
is so.
Last month that they started, that in October 2025, the Commission for the Control of Interpol's file notified Ghanaian authorities that accused Ken Ofori-Atta had applied for the removal of his name from the Interpol red notice. That the Commission requested Ghana's response to Mr. Ofori-Atta's application. Ghana's response was duly submitted 22nd October 2025. That by communication dated November 7, 2025, the Commission for the Control of Interpol's files notified Ghanaian authorities that accused Ken Ofori-Atta had filed additional arguments in an addendum. And the Commission requested Ghanaian authorities to file their response to Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta's additional arguments by November 21, which is in about 2 days. Now that the proceedings are still pending, and the Commission for the Control of Interpol's file is still studying the case, that during the pendency of the proceedings, the applicant's name, image, and details are redacted from public view until a final determination. OSP says what has happened is that the details have been redacted and that he has not been removed from the list. But bottom line is, you do not see him
on the
website.
On the website.
Now, the OSP goes on to urge us to disregard any publication to the contrary, because that is the office in charge. But we've also been doing some checks. How this in itself comes about, or how people get listed on the Interpol red notice. Pretty straightforward process. You make a request, there's a review, and then the decision is made whether to publish the person on the website or not. It does appear that we had gone through this route, for which reason our former finance minister was on that particular website. But what is required? There are some specific conditions that need to be met before this is done. The minimum is that there has to be an offense, and that offense must concern, the offense should be one of a serious nature. The penalty for that offense has to be a minimum of 2 years. So if you are dealing with an offense that has incarceration of period of a year, it means it doesn't qualify here. It has to be custodial of 2 years or more. Now, when it comes to the judicial data that is required, you need to furnish them with all these documents. Summary of facts of the case. Charges. Now pay attention to the kind of data that is required here, because we'll come back to it. You are looking at the summary of facts of the case, the charges. 3, you are looking at laws governing the offense. You are looking at the maximum penalty possible in respect of the charges that you are going to prefer. Then references to valid arrest warrants or judicial decisions having the same effect. But we do know that it was only yesterday that charges were formally preferred against
That's correct.
the former finance minister. So then it raises the questions.
What did the OSP send there?
Exactly. And that also feeds into the conversation that perhaps the information that the OSP submitted to Interpol, for which reason our former finance minister was listed there, perhaps was inadequate. For which reason the filing of the charges yesterday probably prompted them to do a relook. However, when you look at the Interpol website, they also do periodic reviews of information that they've gathered on people. I.e., when they are prompted or when new information comes to their attention, they look at it and they take certain decisions, including deleting the people from the website or taking other actions. So that is the conversation we are having to deal with now. That yes, what is of a fact is that when you check the website, you don't find...
So Dennis, has the OSP given any explanation as to why, you know, as a country, we are now seeing an announcement of charges against the former finance minister, yet knowing that it's part of the requirements to put somebody on the red notice of Interpol? I don't know if you get where I'm going.
The OSP has not done so because we had already crossed that line, because the former finance minister was duly published on the Interpol red notice.
Because then remember also that the basis for which his counsels go there and challenge him being on the red notice is because of the charges.
Again, there's also the question of this whole process from the OSP started, at least per their own statement, October 2025. The only time the public is getting to hear that there's this pending proceeding is only when a report came suggesting that the OSP, the former finance minister, had been removed from the Interpol red notice. Then we are now told that, yes, he has not been removed, but this is what is ongoing.
Could this be that charges then were filed to enable the OSP put Ken Ofori-Atta on the red notice that the public was unaware of, including the person who the charges were against?
That would be highly unlikely, because just last month, yes, the OSP himself indicated that he was going to charge these people. He was not going to charge them again. So that in itself tells us that that was when he was going to charge them before the end of November. So that issue of that they were charged before, where those charges probably will be part of public documents in the courts, but where exactly?
So the Office of the Special Prosecutor should be answering the question then, how did they go around those requirements to be able to put Ken Ofori-Atta on the red notice of Interpol? Valid question.
Valid question. The other valid question that could also be asked is how did Interpol accept such information and publish it if it did not have some of the requirements that needed to be there? Fair questions.
Is this a big mess?
Well, they're still dealing with the matter. Proceedings are ongoing. And that's the reason there's a challenge. We are supposed to file a response. And when I say we, I mean as a state to this particular matter. And then a decision will be made whether to bring back the former finance minister on this particular red list or to remove him entirely. But of course, the bigger conversation has to be now, he together with others have been charged. They'll be formally put before the law courts. 78 charges. That is where the bigger conversation would be, really. And also the matters of extradition, because in respect of this, they're also seeking to bring him back to Ghana to face the law. Kabini.
Wow. I am genuinely curious and almost excited to know how, the OSP responds to this, right? But there are also other matters. We know that Martin Kpebu was invited to the OSP. He honored that invitation today.
Yes, he did.
Yesterday. No, the
today.
invitation was yesterday, but he honored the, the invitation
The
today.
invitation has been there for a while.
Right.
Yes, but he honored the invitation
today.
Yes.
What took him there?
Well, so the OSP has made some observations of some comments that Leonard Senior Martin Kpebu had made as part of the commentary that he makes in the media space. Some of those comments, he finds that there's the need for him to look into them. So he invited senior counsel to appear before him to assist and to provide further and better particulars in respect of those matters.
Dennis, you stay with me here.